Chapter 26. Personality, an obstacle. Questioner. As I can see, the world is a school of yoga, and life itself is yoga practice. Everybody strives for perfection, and what is yoga but striving? There's nothing contemptible about the so-called common people in their common lives. They strive as hard and suffer as much as the yogi, only they are not conscious of their true purpose. Maharaj. In what way are your common people yogis? Q. Their ultimate goal is the same. What the yogi secures by renunciation, tyaga, the common man realizes through experience, bhoga. The way of bhoga is unconscious and therefore repetitive and protracted, while the way of yoga is deliberate and intense and therefore can be more rapid. M. Maybe the periods of yoga and bhoga alternate. First bhogi, then yogi, then again bhogi, then again yogi. Q. What may be the purpose? M. Weak desires can be removed by introspection and meditation, but strong, deep-rooted ones must be fulfilled, and their fruits, sweet or bitter, tasted. Q. Why then should we pay tribute to yogis and speak slightingly of bhogis? All are yogis in a way. M. On the human scale of values, deliberate effort is considered praiseworthy. In reality, both the yogi and bhogi follow their own nature, according to circumstances and opportunities. The yogi's life is governed by a single desire, to find the truth. The bhogi serves many masters, but the bhogi becomes a yogi, and the yogi may get a rounding up in a bout of bhoga. The final result is the same. Q. Buddha is reported to have said that it is tremendously important to have heard that there is enlightenment, a complete reversal and transformation in consciousness. The good news is compared to a spark in a shipload of cotton. Slowly but relentlessly the whole of it will turn to ashes. Similarly, the good news of enlightenment will, sooner or later, bring about a transformation. M. Yes, first hearing, shravana, then remembering, smarana, pondering, manana, and so on. We are on familiar ground. The man who heard the news becomes a yogi, while the rest continue in their bhoga. Q. But you agree that living a life, just living the humdrum life of the world, being born to die and dying to be born, advances man by its sheer volume, just like the river finds its way to the sea by the sheer mass of the water it gathers. M. Before the world was, consciousness was. In consciousness it comes into being, in consciousness it lasts, and into pure consciousness it dissolves. At the root of everything is the feeling I am. The state of mind, there is a world, is secondary, for to be, I do not need the world needs me. Q. The desire to live is a tremendous thing. M. Still greater is the freedom from the urge to live. Q. The freedom of the stone? M. Yes, the freedom of the stone, and much more besides. Freedom unlimited and conscious. Q. Is not personality required for gathering experience? M. As you are now, the personality is only an obstacle. Self-identification with the body may be good for an infant, but true growing up depends on getting the body out of the way. Normally, one should outgrow body-based desires early in life. Even the bhogi, who does not refuse enjoyments, need not hang her after the ones he's tasted. Habit, desire for repetition, frustrates both the yogi and the bhogi. Q. Why do you keep on dismissing the person, vyakti, as of no importance? Personality is the primary fact of our existence. It occupies the entire stage. M. As long as you do not see that it is mere habit, built on memory, prompted by desire, you will think yourself to be a person, living, feeling, thinking, active, passive, pleased, or pained. Question yourself, ask yourself, is it so? Who am I? What is behind and beyond all this? And soon you will see your mistake. And it is the very nature of a mistake to cease to be when seen. Q. The yoga of living, of life itself, we may call the natural yoga, Nisarga yoga. It reminds me of the primal yoga, Adi yoga, mentioned in the Rig Veda, which was described as the mirroring of life and mind. M. A life lived thoughtfully in full awareness is by itself Nisarga yoga. Q. What does the marriage of life and mind mean? M. Living in spontaneous awareness, consciousness of effortless living, being fully interested in one's life, all this is implied. Q. Sharada Devi, wife of Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa, used to scold his disciples for too much effort. She compared them to mangoes on the tree which are being plucked before they're ripe. "Why hurry?" she used to say. "Wait till you're fully ripe, mellow and sweet." How right she was. There are so many who take the dawn for the noon, a momentary experience for full realization, and destroy even the little they gain by excess of pride. Humility and silence are essential for a sadhaka, however advanced. Only a fully ripened jnani can allow himself complete spontaneity. Q. It seems there are schools of yoga where the student, after illumination, is obliged to keep silent for 7 or 12 or 15 or even 25 years. Even Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharishi imposed on himself 20 years of silence before he began to teach. Yes, the inner fruit must ripen. Until then, the discipline, the living in awareness, must go on. Gradually, the practice becomes more and more subtle until it becomes altogether formless. Q. Krishnamurti, too, speaks of living in awareness. He always aims directly at the ultimate. Yes, ultimately, all yogas end in your Adi Yoga, the marriage of consciousness, the bride, to life, the bridegroom. Consciousness and being, Sat Chit, meet in bliss, Ananda. For bliss to arise, there must be meeting, contact, the assertion of unity and duality. Q. Buddha too has said that for the attainment of nirvana one must go to living beings. Consciousness needs life to grow. The world itself is contact, the totality of all contacts actualized in consciousness. The spirit touches matter and consciousness results. Such consciousness, when tainted with memory and expectation, becomes bondage. Pure experience does not bind. Experience caught between desire and fear is impure and creates karma. Q. Can there be happiness in unity? Does not all happiness imply necessarily contact, hence duality? There's nothing wrong with duality as long as it does not create conflict. Multiplicity and variety without strife is joy. In pure consciousness, there is light. For warmth, contact is needed. Above the unity of being is the union of love. Love is the meaning and purpose of duality. Q. I am an adopted child. My own father I do not know. My mother died when I was born. My foster father, to please my foster mother, who was childless, adopted me almost by accident. He's a simple man, a truck owner and driver. My mother keeps the house. I'm 24 years now. For the last 2.5 years, I'm traveling, restless, seeking. I want to live a good life, a holy life. What am I to do? Go home, take charge of your father's business, look after your parents in their old age. Marry the girl who is waiting for you. Be loyal, be simple, be humble. Hide your virtue, live silently. The 5 senses and the 3 qualities, gunas, are your 8 steps in yoga. And I am is the great reminder, Mahamantra. You can learn from them all you need to know. Be attentive, inquire ceaselessly. That is all. Q. If just living one's life liberates, why are not all liberated? All are being liberated. It is not what you live, but how you live that matters. The idea of enlightenment is of utmost importance. Just to know that there is such possibility changes one's entire outlook. It acts like a burning match in a heap of sawdust. All the great teachers did nothing else. A spark of truth can burn up a mountain of lies. The opposite is also true. The sun of truth remains hidden behind the cloud of self-identification with the body. Q. The spreading of the good news of enlightenment seems very important. The very hearing of it is a promise of enlightenment. The very meeting a guru is the assurance of liberation. Perfection is life-giving and creative. Q. Does a realized man ever think, I am realized? Is he not astonished when people make much of him? Does he not take himself to be an ordinary human being? Neither ordinary nor extraordinary, just being aware and affectionate, intensely. He looks at himself without indulging in self-definitions and self-identifications. He does not know himself as anything apart from the world. He is the world. He is completely rid of himself. like a man who is very rich, but continually gives away his riches. He is not rich, for he has nothing. He is not poor, for he gives abundantly. He is just propertyless. Similarly, the realized man is egoless. He has lost the capacity of identifying himself with anything. He is without location, placeless, beyond space and time, beyond the world, beyond words and thoughts is he. Q. Well, it is a deep mystery to me. I am a simple man. M. It is you who are deeply complex, mysterious, hard to understand. I am simplicity itself compared to you. I am what is, without any distraction whatsoever into inner and outer, mine and yours, good and bad. What the world is, I am. What I am, the world is. Q. How does it happen that each man creates his own world? M. When a number of people are asleep, each dreams his own dream. Only on wakening, the question of many different dreams arises and dissolves when they're all seen as dreams, as something imagined. Q. Even dreams have a foundation, M, in memory. Even then, what is remembered is but another dream. The memory of the false cannot give rise but to the false. There is nothing wrong with memory as such. What is false is its content. Remember facts, forget opinions. Q. What is a fact? M. What is perceived in pure awareness, unaffected by desire and fear, is fact. Chapter 27. The Beginningless Begins Forever. Questioner. The other day I was asking you about the two ways of growth, renunciation and enjoyment, yoga and boga. The difference is not so great as it looks. The yogi renounces to enjoy, the bogi enjoys to renounce. The yogi renounces first, the bogi enjoys first. Maharaj. So what? Leave the yogi to his yoga and the bogi to his boga. Q. The way of boga seems to me the better one. The yogi is like a green mango separated from the tree prematurely and kept to ripen in a basket of straw. Airless and overheated, it does get ripe, but the true flavor and fragrance are lost. The mango left on the tree grows to full size, color, and sweetness, a joy in every way. Yet somehow yoga gets all the praises and boga all the curses. As I see it, boga is the better of the two. M. What makes you say so? Q. I watch the yogis in their enormous efforts. Even when they realize there's something bitter or astringent about it, they seem to spend much of their time in trances, and when they speak, they merely voice their scriptures. At their best, such jnanis are like flowers, perfect, but just little flowers, shedding their fragrance within a short radius. There are some others who are like forests, rich, varied, immense, full of surprises, a world in themselves. There must be a reason for this difference. M. Well, you said it. According to you, one got stunted in his yoga while the other flourished in boga. Q. Is it not so? The yogi is afraid of life and seeks peace, while the bogi is adventurous, full of spirits, forward-going. The yogi is bound by an ideal, while the bogi is ever ready to explore. M. It's a matter of wanting much or being satisfied with little. The yogi is ambitious, while the bogi is merely adventurous. Your bogi seems to be richer and more interesting, but it is not so in reality. The yogi is narrow as the sharp edge of the knife. He has to be, to cut deep and smoothly, to penetrate unerringly the many layers of the false. The bogi worships at many altars. The yogi serves none but his own true self. There's no purpose in opposing the yogi to the bogi. The way of outgoing, pravriti, necessarily precedes the way of returning, nifriti. To sit in judgment and allot marks is ridiculous. Everything contributes to the ultimate perfection. Some say there are three aspects of reality: truth, wisdom, bliss. He who seeks truth becomes a yogi. He who seeks wisdom becomes a jnani. He who seeks happiness becomes the man of action. Q. We are told of the bliss of non-duality. Such bliss is more of the nature of a great peace. Pleasure and pain are the fruits of actions, righteous and unrighteous. Q. What makes the difference? M. The difference is between giving and grasping. Whatever the way of approach, in the end all becomes one. Q. If there's no difference in the goal, why discriminate between various approaches? M. Let each act according to his nature. The ultimate purpose will be served in any case. All your discriminations and classifications are quite all right, but they do not exist in my case. As the description of a dream may be detailed and accurate, though without having any foundation, so does your pattern fit nothing but your own assumptions. You begin with an idea, and you end with the same idea under a different garb. Q. How do you see things? M. One and all are the same to me. The same consciousness, Chit, appears as being, Sat, and as bliss, Ananda. Chit in movement is Ananda. Chit motionless is being. Q. Still, you're making a distinction between motion and motionless. M. Non-distinction speaks in silence. Words carry distinctions. The unmanifested nirguna has no name. All names refer to the manifested saguna. It's useless to struggle with words to express what is beyond words. Consciousness, Chidananda, is spirit, Purusha. Consciousness is matter, Prakriti. Imperfect spirit is matter. Perfect matter is spirit. In the beginning, as in the end, all is one. All division is in the mind, Chitta. There is none in reality, Chit. Movement and rest are states of mind and cannot be without their opposites. By itself nothing moves, nothing rests. It's a grievous mistake to attribute to mental constructs absolute existence. Nothing exists by itself. Q. You seem to identify rest with the supreme state. M. There is rest as a state of mind, Chittaram, and there is rest as a state of being, Atmaram. The former comes and goes, while the true rest is the very heart of action. Unfortunately, language is a mental tool and works only in opposites. Q. As a witness, are you working or at rest? M. Witnessing is an experience, and rest is freedom from experience. Q. Can't they coexist, as the tumult of the waves and the quiet of the deep coexist in the ocean? M. Beyond the mind, there's no such thing as experience. Experience is a dual state. You can't talk of reality as an experience. Once this is understood, you will no longer look for being and becoming as separate and opposite. In reality, they are one and inseparable, like roots and branches of the same tree. Both can exist only in the light of consciousness, which again arises in the wake of the sense I am. This is the primary fact. If you miss it, you miss all. Q. Is the sense of being a product of experience only? The great saying, Mahavakya Tat Sat, is it a mere mode of mentation? M. Whatever is spoken is speech only. Whatever is thought only. The real meaning is unexplainable, though experienceable. The Mahavakya is true, but your ideas are false, for all ideas are false. Q. Is the conviction, I am that, false? M. Of course. Conviction is a mental state. In that, there is no I am. With the sense I am emerging, that is obscured. As with the sun rising, the stars are wiped out, but as with the sun comes light. So with the sense of self comes bliss, Chidananda. The cause of bliss is sought in the not I, and thus the bondage begins. Q. In your daily life, are you always conscious of your real state? M. Neither conscious nor unconscious. I do not need convictions. I live on courage. Courage is my essence, which is love of life. I am free of memories and anticipations, unconcerned with what I am and what I am not. I am not addicted to self-descriptions. Soham and Brahmasmi. I am he. I am the Supreme are of no use to me. I have the courage to be as nothing and to see the world as it is, nothing. It sounds simple. Just try it. Q. But what gives you courage? M. How perverted are your views? Need courage be given? Your question implies that anxiety is the normal state and courage is abnormal. It's the other way around. Anxiety and hope are born of imagination. I am free of both. I am simple being, and I need nothing to rest on. Q. Unless you know yourself, well, what use is your being to you? To be happy with what you are, you must know what you are. M. Being shines as knowing. Knowing is warm in love. It is all one. You imagine separations and trouble yourself with questions. Don't overconcern yourself with formulations. Pure being cannot be described. Q. Unless a thing is knowable and enjoyable, it's of no use to me. It must become a part of my experience, first of all. M. You are dragging down reality to the level of experience. How can reality depend on experience? when it is the very ground, Adhar, of experience. Reality is in the very fact of experience, not in its nature. Experience is, after all, a state of mind, while being is definitely not a state of mind. Q. Again, I'm confused. Is being separate from knowing? M. The separation is an appearance, just as the dream is not apart from the dreamer. So is knowing not apart from being. The dream is the dreamer, the knowledge is the knower. The distinction is merely verbal. Q. I can see now that Sat and Chit are one, but what about bliss, Ananda? Being and consciousness are always present together, but bliss flashes only occasionally. M. The undisturbed state of being is bliss. The disturbed state is what appears as the world. In non-duality there is bliss, in duality experience. What comes and goes is experience with its duality of pain and pleasure. Bliss is not to be known. One is always bliss, but never blissful. Bliss is not an attribute. Q. I have another question to ask. Some yogis attain their goal, but it is of no use to others. They do not know or are not able to share. Those who can share out of what they have initiate others. Where lies the difference? M. There is no difference. Your approach is wrong. There are no others to help. A rich man, when he hands over his entire fortune to his family, has not a coin left to give a beggar. So is the wise man, Jnani, stripped of all his powers and possessions. Nothing, literally nothing, can be said about him. He cannot help anybody, for he is everybody. He is the poor and also his poverty, the thief and also his thievery. How can he be said to help when he is not a part? Who thinks of himself as separate from the world, let him help the world. Q. Still, there is duality, there is sorrow, there is need of help. By denouncing it as mere dream, nothing is achieved. M. The only thing that can help is to wake up from the dream. Q. An awakener is needed. M. Who again is in the dream? The awakener signifies the beginning of the end. There are no eternal dreams. Q. Even when it is beginningless? M. Everything begins with you. What else is beginningless? Q. I began at birth. M. That is what you are told. Is it so? Did you see yourself beginning? Q. I began just now. All else is memory. M. Quite right. The beginningless begins forever. In the same way, I give eternally because I have nothing. To be nothing, to have nothing, to keep nothing for oneself is the greatest gift, the highest generosity. Q. Is there no self-concern left? M. Of course I'm self-concerned, but the self is all. In practice, it takes the shape of goodwill, unfailing and universal. You may call it love, all-pervading, all-redeeming. Such love is supremely active, without the sense of doing. Chapter 28. All suffering is born of desire. Questioner. I come from a far-off country. I've had some inner experiences on my own, and I would like to compare notes. Maharaj. By all means, do you know yourself? Q. I know that I'm not the body, nor am I the mind. M. What makes you say so? Q. I do not feel I'm in the body. I seem to be all over the place, everywhere. As to the mind, I can switch it on and off, so to say. This makes me feel I'm not the mind. M. When you feel yourself everywhere in the world, do you remain separate from the world, or are you the world? Q. Both. Sometimes I feel myself to be neither mind nor body, but one single all-seeing I. When I go deeper into it, I find myself to be all I see, and the world and myself become one. M. Very well. What about desires? Do you have any? Q. Yes, they come short and superficial. M. And what do you do about them? Q. What can I do? They come, they go, I look at them. Sometimes I see my body and my mind engaged in fulfilling them. M. Whose desires are being fulfilled? Q. They are a part of the world in which I live. They are just as trees and clouds are there. M. Are they not a sign of some imperfection? Q. Why should they be? They are as they are, and I am as I am. How can the appearance and disappearance of desires affect me? Of course they affect the shape and content of the mind. M. Very well. What is your work? Q. I am a probation officer. M. What does it mean? Q. Juvenile offenders are let off on probation, and there are special officers to watch their behavior and to help them get training and find work. M. Must you work? Q. Who works? Work happens to take place. M. Do you need to work? Q. I need it for the sake of money. I like it because it puts me in touch with living beings. M. What do you need them for? Q. They may need me, and it is their destinies that made me take up this work. It is one life, after all. M. How did you come to your present state? Q. Sri Ramana Maharishi's teachings have put me on my way. Then I met one Douglas Harding who helped me by showing me how to work on the who am I. M. Was it sudden or gradual? Q. It was quite sudden, like something quite forgotten coming back into one's mind, or like a sudden flash of understanding. How simple, I said, how simple. I'm not what I thought I am. I'm neither the perceived nor the perceiver. I'm the perceiving only. M. Not even the perceiving, but that which makes all this possible. Q. What is love? M. When the sense of distinction and separation is absent, you may call it love. Q. Why so much stress on love between man and woman? M. Because the elements of happiness in it is so prominent. Q. Is it not so for all love? M. Not necessarily. Love may cause pain. You call it then compassion. Q. What is happiness? M. Harmony between the inner and the outer is happiness. On the other hand, self-identification with the outer is suffering. Q. How does self-identification happen? M. The self by its nature knows itself only. For lack of experience, whatever it perceives it takes to be itself. Pattern, it learns to look out, viveka. To live alone, vairagya. When right behavior, uprati, becomes normal, a powerful inner urge, mukshutva, makes it seek its source. The candle of the body is lighted and all becomes clear and bright, atma prakash. Q. What is the real cause of suffering? M. Self-identification with the limited, vyaktitva. Sensations as such, however strong, do not cause suffering. It is the mind, bewildered by wrong ideas, addicted to thinking, I am this, I am that fears loss and craves gain, and suffers when frustrated. Q. A friend of mine used to have horrible dreams night after night. Going to sleep would terrorize him. Nothing could help him. M. Company of the truly good, satsang, would help him. Q. Life itself is a nightmare. M. Noble friendship, satsang, is the supreme remedy for all ills, physical and mental. Q. Generally one cannot find such friendship. M. Seek within yourself. Your own self is your best friend. Q. Why is life so full of contradictions? M. It serves to break down mental pride. We must realize how poor and powerless we are. As long as we delude ourselves by what we imagine ourselves to be, to know, to have, to do, we are in a sad plight indeed. Only in complete self-negation is there a chance to discover our real being. Q. Why so much stress on self-negation? M. As much as on self-realization, the false self must be abandoned before the real self can be found. Q. The self you choose to call false is to me most distressingly real. It's the only self I know. What you call the real self is a mere concept, a way of speaking, a creature of the mind, an attractive ghost. My daily self is not a beauty, I admit, but it is my own and only self. You say I am or have another self. Do you see it? Is it a reality to you? Or do you want me to believe what you yourself don't see? M. Don't jump to conclusions rashly. The concrete need not be the real. The conceived need not be false. Perceptions based on sensations and shaped by memory imply a perceiver, whose nature you never cared to examine. Give it your full attention, examine it with loving care, and you'll discover heights and depths of being which you did not dream of, engrossed as you are in your puny image of yourself. Q. I must be in the right mood to examine myself fruitfully. M. You must be serious, intent, truly interested. You must be full of goodwill for yourself. Q. I'm selfish, all right. M. You are not. You are all the time destroying yourself and your own by serving strange gods, inimical and false. By all means be selfish the right way. Wish yourself well. Labor at what is good for you. Destroy all that stands between you and happiness. Be all, love all, be happy, make happy. No happiness is greater. Q. Why is there so much suffering in love? M. All suffering is born of desire. True love is never frustrated. How can the sense of unity be frustrated? What can be frustrated is the desire for expression. Such desire is of the mind. As with all things mental, frustration is inevitable. Q. What is the place of sex in love? M. Love is a state of being. Sex is energy. Love is wise, sex is blind. Once the true nature of love and sex is understood, there will be no conflict or confusion. Q. There's so much sex without love. M. Without love, all is evil. Life itself without love is evil. Q. What can make me love? M. You are love itself, when you are not afraid. Chapter 29. Living is life's only purpose. Questioner. What does it mean to fail in yoga? Who is a failure in yoga? Yoga Bhrashta. Maharaj. It's only a question of incompletion. He who could not complete his yoga for some reason is called failed in yoga. Such failure is only temporary, for there can be no defeat in yoga. This battle is always won, for it's a battle between the true and the false. The false has no chance. Q. Who fails, the person, Vyakti, or the self, Vyakta? Ahem. The question is wrongly put. There is no question of failure, neither in the short run nor in the long run. It's like traveling along an arduous road in an unknown country. Of all the innumerable steps, there is only the last which brings you to your destination. Yet you will not consider all previous steps as failures. Each brought you nearer to your goal, even when you had to turn back to bypass an obstacle. In reality, each step brings you to your goal, because to be always on the move, learning, discovering, unfolding, is your eternal destiny. Living is life's only purpose. The self does not identify itself with success or failure. The very idea of becoming this or that is unthinkable. The self understands that success and failure are relative and related, that they are the very warp and weft of life. Learn from both and go beyond. If you have not learnt, repeat. Q. What am I to learn? M. To live without self-concern. For this you must know your own true being, Swarupa, as indomitable, fearless, ever victorious. Once you know with absolute certainty that nothing can trouble you but your own imagination, you come to disregard your desires and fears, concepts and ideas, and live by truth alone. Q. What may be the reason that some people succeed and others fail in yoga? Is it destiny or character or just accident? M. Nobody ever fails in yoga. It is all a matter of the rate of progress. It is slow in the beginning and rapid in the end. When one is fully matured, realization is explosive. It takes place spontaneously or at the slightest hint. The quick is not better than the slow. Slow ripening and rapid flowering alternate. Both are natural and right. Yet all this is so in the mind only. As I see it, there's really nothing of the kind. In the great mirror of consciousness, images arise and disappear, and only memory gives them continuity. And memory is material, destructible, perishable, transient. On such flimsy foundations we build a sense of personal existence, vague, intermittent, dreamlike. This vague persuasion, I am so-and-so, obscures the changeless state of pure awareness and makes us believe that we are born to suffer and die. Q. Just as a child cannot help growing, so does a man compelled by nature make progress. Why exert oneself? Where's the need of yoga? M. There's progress all the time. Everything contributes to progress. But this is the progress of ignorance. The circles of ignorance may be ever widening, yet it remains a bondage all the same. In due course, a guru appears to teach and inspire us to practice yoga, and a ripening takes place as a result of which the immemorial night of ignorance dissolves before the rising sun of wisdom. But in reality, nothing happened. The sun is always there. There is no night to it. The mind, blinded by the I am the body idea, spins out endlessly its thread of illusion. Q. If all is a part of a natural process, where is the need of effort? M. Even effort is a part of it. When ignorance becomes obstinate and hard and the character gets perverted, effort and the pain of it become inevitable. In complete obedience to nature, there is no effort. The seed of spiritual life grows in silence and in darkness until its appointed hour. Q. We come across some great people who in their old age become childish, petty, quarrelsome, and spiteful. How could they deteriorate so much? M. They were not perfect yogis, having their bodies under complete control. Or they might not have cared to protect their bodies from the natural decay. One must not draw conclusions without understanding all the factors. Above all, one must not make judgments of inferiority or superiority. Youthfulness is more a matter of vitality, prana, than of wisdom, jnana. Q. One may get old, but why should one lose all alertness and discrimination? M. Consciousness and unconsciousness while in the body depend on the condition of the brain. But the self is beyond both, beyond the brain, beyond the mind. The fault of the instrument is no reflection on its user. Q. I was told that a realized man will never do anything unseemly. He will always behave in an exemplary way. M. Who sets the example? Why should a liberated man necessarily follow conventions? The moment he becomes predictable, he cannot be free. His freedom lies in his being free to fulfill the need of the moment, to obey the necessity of the situation. Freedom to do what one likes is really bondage, while being free to do what one must, what is right, is real freedom. Q. Still, there must be some way of making out who has realized and who has not. If one is indistinguishable from the other, of what use is he? M. He who knows himself has no doubts about it, nor does he care whether others recognize his state or not. Rare is the realized man who discloses his realization, and fortunate are those who have met him, for he does it for their abiding welfare. Q. When one looks around, one's appalled by the volume of unnecessary suffering that's going on. People who should be helped are not getting help. Imagine a big hospital ward full of incurables tossing and moaning. Were you given the authority to kill them all and end their torture, would you not do so? M. I would leave it to them to decide. Q. But if their destiny is to suffer, how can you interfere with destiny? M. Their destiny is what happens. There is no thwarting of destiny. You mean to say everybody's life is totally determined at his birth? What a strange idea. Were it so, the power that determines would see to it that nobody should suffer. Q. What about cause and effect? M. Each moment contains the whole of the past and creates the whole of the future. Q. But past and future exist. M. In the mind only. Time is in the mind, space is in the mind. The law of cause and effect is also a way of thinking. In reality, all is here and now, and all is one. Multiplicity and diversity are in the mind only. Q. Still, you're in favor of relieving suffering, even through destruction of the incurably diseased body. M. Again, you look from outside, while I look from within. I do not see a sufferer. I am the sufferer. I know him from within and do what is right spontaneously and effortlessly. I follow no rules, nor lay down rules. I flow with life faithfully and irresistibly. Q. Still, you seem to be a very practical man in full control of your immediate surroundings. M. What else do you expect me to be, a misfit? Q. Yet you cannot help another much. M. Surely I can. You can help too. Everybody can help. But the suffering is all the time recreated. Man alone can destroy in himself the roots of pain. Others can only help with the pain, but not with its cause, which is the abysmal stupidity of mankind. Q. Will this stupidity never come to an end? M. In man, of course, any moment. In humanity, as we know it, after very many years. In creation, never. For creation itself is rooted in ignorance. Matter itself is ignorance. Not to know, and not to know that one does not know, is the cause of endless suffering. Q. We are told of the great avatars, the saviors of the world. M. Did they save? They have come and gone, and the world plods on. Of course, they did a lot and opened new dimensions in the human mind, but to talk of saving the world is an exaggeration. Q. Is there no salvation for the world? M. Which world do you want to save? The world of your own projection? Save it yourself. My world? Show me my world, and I shall deal with it. I am not aware of any world separate from myself, which I am free to save or not to save. What business have you with saving the world, when all the world needs is to be saved from you? Get out of the picture, and see whether there is anything left to save. Q. You seem to stress the point that without you, your world would not have existed, and therefore the only thing you can do for it is to wind up the show. This is not a way out. Even if the world were of my own creation, this knowledge does not save it. It only explains it. The question remains, why did I create such a wretched world, and what can I do to change it? You seem to say, forget it all and admire your own glory. Surely you don't mean it. The description of a disease and its causes does not cure it. What we need is the right medicine. M. The description and causation are the remedy for a disease caused by obtuseness and stupidity. Just like a deficiency disease is cured through the supply of the missing factor, so are the diseases of living cured by a good dose of intelligent detachment, viveka, vairagya. Q. You cannot save the world by preaching counsels of perfection. People are as they are. Must they suffer? M. As long as they are as they are, there is no escape from suffering. Remove the sense of separateness, and there will be no conflict. Q. A message in print may be paper and ink only. It is the text that matters. By analyzing the world into elements and qualities, we miss the most important, its meaning. Your reduction of everything to dream disregards the difference between the dream of an insect and the dream of a poet. All is a dream, granted, but not all are equal. M. The dreams are not equal, but the dreamer is one. I am the insect, I am the poet, in dream. But in reality, I am neither. I am beyond all dreams. I am the light in which all dreams appear and disappear. I am both inside and outside the dream. Just as a man having a headache knows the ache and also knows that he is not the ache, so do I know the dream, myself dreaming and myself not dreaming, all at the same time. I am what I am before, during, and after the dream. But what I see in dream, I am not. Q. Is it all a matter of imagination? One imagines that one is dreaming, another imagines one is not dreaming. Are not both the same? M. The same and not the same. Not dreaming, as an interval between two dreams, is of course a part of dreaming. Not dreaming as a steady hold on and timeless abidance in reality has nothing to do with dreaming. In that sense, I never dream, nor ever shall. Q. If both dream and escape from dream are imaginings, what is the way out? M. There is no need of a way out. Don't you see that a way out is also part of the dream? All you have to do is to see the dream as a dream. Q. If I start the practice of dismissing everything as a dream, where will it lead me? M. Wherever it leads you, it will be a dream. The very idea of going beyond the dream is illusory. Why go anywhere? Just realize that you are dreaming a dream you call the world and stop looking for ways out. The dream is not your problem. Your problem is that you like one part of your dream and not another. Love all or none of it and stop complaining. When you have seen the dream as a dream, you have done all that needs to be done. Q. Is dreaming caused by thinking? M. Everything is a play of ideas. In the state free from ideation, nirvikalpa samadhi, nothing is perceived. The root idea is, I am. It shatters the state of pure consciousness and is followed by the innumerable sensations and perceptions, feelings and ideas which in their totality constitute God and His world. The I am remains as the witness, but it is by the will of God that everything happens. Q. Why not by my will? M. Again, you have split yourself into God and witness. Both are one. Chapter 30. You are free now. Questioner. There are so many theories about the nature of man and universe. The creation theory, the illusion theory, the dream theory, any number of them. Which is true? Maharaj. All are true, all are false. Pick up whichever you like best. Q. You seem to favor the dream theory. M. These are all ways of putting words together. Some favor one way, some favor another. The theories are neither right nor wrong. They are attempts at explaining the inexplicable. It's not the theory that matters, but the way it is being tested. It is the testing of the theory that makes it fruitful. Experiment with any theory you like. If you are truly earnest and honest, the attainment of reality will be yours. As a living being, you're caught in an untenable and painful situation, and you're seeking a way out. You're being offered several plans of your prison, none quite true. But they all have some value, only if you are in dead earnest. It is the earnestness that liberates, not the theory. Q. Theory may be misleading and earnestness blind. M. Your sincerity will guide you. Devotion to the goal of freedom and perfection will make you abandon all theories and systems and live by wisdom, intelligence, and active love. Theories may be good as starting points, but must be abandoned, the sooner the better. Q. There's a yogi who says that for realization the Eightfold Yoga is not necessary, that willpower alone will do. It's enough to concentrate on the goal with full confidence in the power of pure will to obtain effortlessly and quickly what others take decades to achieve. M. Concentration, full confidence, pure will. With such assets, no wonder one attains in no time. This yoga of will is all right for the mature seeker who has shed all desires but one. After all, what is will but steadfastness of heart and mind? Given such steadfastness, all can be achieved. Q. I feel the yogi did not mean mere steadfastness of purpose, resulting in ceaseless pursuit and application. He meant that with will fixed on the goal, no pursuit or application are needed. The mere fact of willing attracts its object. M. Whatever name you give it, will, steady purpose, or one-pointedness of mind, you come back to earnestness, sincerity, honesty. When you are in dead earnest, you bend every incident, every second of your life, to your purpose. You do not waste time and energy on other things. You're totally dedicated. Call it will or love or plain honesty. We are complex beings at war within and without. We contradict ourselves all the time, undoing today the work of yesterday. No wonder we're stuck. A little of integrity would make a lot of difference. Q. What is more powerful, desire or destiny? M. Desire shapes destiny. Q. And destiny shapes desire. My desires are conditioned by heredity and circumstances, by opportunities and accidents, by what we call destiny. M. Yes, you may say so. Q. At what point am I freed to desire what I want to desire? M. You are free now. What is it you want to desire? Desire it. Q. Of course I'm free to desire, but I'm not free to act on my desire. Other urges will lead me astray. My desire is not strong enough, even if it has my approval. Other desires which I disapprove of are stronger. M. Maybe you are deceiving yourself. Maybe you are giving expression to your real desires, and the ones you approve of are kept on the surface for the sake of respectability. Q. It may be as you say, but this is another theory. The fact is that I do not feel free to desire what I think I should, and when I seem to desire rightly, I do not act accordingly. M. It is all due to weakness of the mind and disintegration of the brain. Collect and strengthen your mind, and you will find that your thoughts and feelings, words and actions will align themselves in the direction of your will. Q. Again, a counsel of perfection. To integrate and strengthen the mind is not an easy task. How does one begin? M. You can start only from where you are. You are here and now. You cannot get out of here and now. Q. But what can I do here and now? M. You can be aware of your being, here and now. Q. Is that all? M. That is all. There is nothing more to it. Q. All my waking and dreaming, I am conscious of myself. It does not help me much. M. You were aware of thinking, feeling, doing. You are not aware of your being. Q. What's the new factor you want me to bring in? M. The attitude of pure witnessing, of watching the events without taking part in them. Q. What will that do to me? M. Weak-mindedness is due to lack of intelligence, of understanding, which again is the result of non-awareness. By striving for awareness, you bring your mind together and strengthen it. Q. I may be fully aware of what's going on and yet quite unable to influence it in any way. M. You are mistaken. What's going on is a projection of your mind. A weak mind cannot control its projections. Be aware, therefore, of your mind and its projections. You cannot control what you do not know. On the other hand, knowledge gives power. In practice, it's very simple to control yourself, know yourself. Q. Maybe I can come to control myself, but shall I be able to deal with the chaos in the world? M. There is no chaos in the world except the chaos which your mind creates. It is self-created in the sense that at its very center is the false idea of oneself as a thing different and separate from other things. In reality, you are not a thing nor separate. You are the infinite potentiality, the inexhaustible possibility, because you are all can be. The universe is but a partial manifestation of your limitless capacity to become. Q. I find that I am totally motivated by desire for pleasure and fear of pain. However noble my desire and justified my fear, pleasure and pain are the two poles between which my life oscillates. M. Go to the source of both pain and pleasure, of desire and fear. Observe, investigate, try to understand. Q. Desire and fear both are feelings caused by physical or mental factors. They are there, easily observable. But why are they there? Why do I desire pleasure and fear pain? M. Pleasure and pain are states of mind. As long as you think you are the mind, or rather the body-mind, you are bound to raise such questions. Q. And when I realize that I am not the body, shall I be free from desire and fear? M. As long as there's a body and a mind to protect the body, attractions and repulsions will operate. They will be there out in the field of events, but will not concern you. The focus of your attention will be elsewhere. You will not be distracted. Q. Still they'll be there. Will one never be completely free? M. You are completely free even now. What you call destiny, karma, is but the result of your own will to live. How strong is this will you can judge by the universal horror of death. Q. People die willingly quite often. M. Only when the alternative is worse than death. But such readiness to die flows from the same source as the will to live, a source deeper even than life itself. To be a living being is not the ultimate state. There's something beyond, much more wonderful, which is neither being nor non-being, neither living nor non-living. It is a state of pure awareness, beyond the limitations of space and time. Once the illusion that the body-mind is oneself is abandoned, death loses its terror. It becomes a part of living.